Okay, so you need a new roof. It's a huge decision, right? It can feel super overwhelming. You've got materials, prices, contractors just coming at you from all sides. So how do you make a smart choice, one that you're still going to be happy with, say, 10 years from now? Well, that is exactly what we're going to break down right here.
So, let's start with what is, honestly, the most important question you can ask. Is this new roof just an expense, something you gotta pay for, or is it a real investment in your home's future? We're talking safety, we're talking efficiency, we're talking value. Because trust me, how you answer that question, it changes everything.
The secret to making that mental shift from expense to investment, it's all about understanding what we call performance metrics. Now, I know that sounds super technical, right? But it's not. It's really just a simple, objective way to measure how well a roof is actually going to do its job. Okay, let's dive into this.
So what actually makes a roof good? I'm not talking about the color or, how it looks. A really good roof is a high-performance system. And today we're going to break down exactly how you can measure that performance. We'll look at three key things: durability, efficiency, and what I like to call its true value.
All right, first up, durability. This is the big one. It's really the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about. And it's so much more than just a number, how many years it's supposed to last. It's really about how well it's going to stand up to, well, everything nature can throw at it, year in, year out. Okay, check this out. What's so interesting here is the trade-off you see right away. You look at something like slate, and wow, 100+ years, that's incredible, right? It could literally outlive you. But then, look at the weight. We're talking up to 15 pounds per square foot. That is a huge amount of stress on your house. Then you've got steel, which is super light but still gives you a fantastic lifespan. So, this is our first real performance metric in action. You've got to balance that long life with what your home can actually handle. And look, durability isn't just about this slow, graceful aging over 50 years. It's about surviving the brutal stuff. I'm talking about those wild temperature swings you can get in just one season. Think about it. Your roof has to bake in the brutal summer heat, then survive freezing cold, expanding and contracting over and over again. If it can't handle that without cracking, well, that's a huge problem. That's what we call freeze-thaw resistance, and it's a massive test of a roof's real strength.
And then there's wind. This number you see here, 110 miles per hour plus. That needs to be your absolute baseline. No questions asked. Your roof has to be rated to handle that as a minimum. Seriously, anything less and you're basically just rolling the dice every single time a big storm comes to town.
Okay, so let's wrap up durability. Here's your simple checklist. First, what's its impact rating? If you live anywhere that gets hail, you absolutely want a Class 4 rating. That's the top of the line for impact resistance. Next, does it hit that 110+ mile per hour wind rating we just talked about? And finally, the big one. Can your house actually support the weight?
All right, we've got durability down. Now let's move on to our second metric, efficiency. Because a roof that just sits there and takes a beating is fine, but a high-performance roof, it should actually work for you. It should be saving you money. This is where your roof stops being just a passive shield and becomes an active, working part of your home. Let's dig in.
So the first piece of the efficiency puzzle is all about heat. You've probably heard the term cool roof, right? Well, it's not just some marketing gimmick. It's a real category of materials specifically designed to reflect sunlight away from your house. And the result is super simple, a cooler attic. And a cooler attic means your AC doesn't have to work as hard, which means lower energy bills.
And this shows you just how big a deal that is. Your typical dark roof, it just soaks up a ton of that sun, basically turning your attic into an oven. But a cool roof, it can bounce back up to 85% of that solar energy. It just sends it right back into space. That's a huge, measurable difference in how much energy your house uses. Now, the other side of efficiency is, well, it's the most basic job a roof has: get water off your house, and fast. And this isn't just about what the roof is made of, it's about the design. You have to have the proper slope. If you don't, water just sits there, and I don't care what kind of fancy material you have, it's eventually going to fail. So good drainage is just fundamental.
Okay, so we've got a durable roof, an efficient roof, but what does it all cost? This brings us to the metric that ties it all together: true value. This is where we get past that initial sticker shock, the big number on the quote, and start thinking more like an investor. We're going to figure out the real cost of a roof over its entire life.
And please, remember this if you remember nothing else. That initial cost, it's just part of the story. Honestly, the price you pay on day one, it can often be the least important number. It's everything that comes after the costs and the savings that really tells the tale.
And this chart right here shows you exactly what I mean. When you do the math, when you divide the total cost by how many years the roof is going to last, the whole picture just flips. See that budget shingle? Yeah, it's cheap up front, but you have to replace it in 20 years. All of a sudden, its cost per year is way higher than the premium metal roof that lasts for 50. It's kind of crazy, but often, the roof with the higher price tag actually has the lowest cost per year.
Let me give you a really concrete example of this. So let's say you choose an impact-resistant roof. It costs a little more upfront, right? But what if it gets you a $300 a year discount on your insurance? Over a 50-year lifespan, that's 15 grand. $15,000 back in your pocket. Just that one thing could completely wipe out the extra cost of the better material.
And this quote just nails it. Premium materials often cost less every year than the so-called budget ones. It feels backward, I know, but it's a super powerful financial idea. You spend a bit more now for performance and a long life, and you actually lower your total costs over time. So when you're trying to figure out that true value, you have to look past that first big quote. You've got to factor in everything else. Think about maintenance costs. Think about the energy you'll save. Think about those insurance discounts. And hey, even think about a transferable warranty. That can be a huge selling point if you ever move.
Okay, wow, we've covered a ton of ground, haven't we? We've hit durability, efficiency, and true value. So now let's pull it all together into one simple checklist, something you can actually use to take all the guesswork out of this and make a really smart call.
Here it is, just 4 simple steps. Number 1, assess your climate. What are you up against? Is it hail, high winds, just relentless sun? Number 2, check your structure. Can your house actually hold the roof you want? Number 3, calculate that true value. Always think in cost per year, not the initial price. And finally, number 4, look at the warranties. Is it transferable? Because that's a real asset.
So in the end, it all boils down to this one question. Don't just ask yourself, which roof should I buy? That's the wrong question. Instead, ask this. What does my roof need to perform for my house, in my climate, for as long as I plan to be here? You answer that question honestly, and I promise you'll pick the right roof every single time.